What's up, team? Hey, man, this would have got sent out a little bit sooner, but I realized that I had real students' names and phone numbers from my previous ministry in here, and I can't put that on YouTube. That's the only way I can get videos to you guys. I can't put any um, student information out there because we would be breaking the law. So, back at it for round two. This is a spreadsheet that I used for our high school alpha gatherings, and I want to teach you guys how to do follow up. So, we're going to talk about three things. The first is why. Why follow up? Why is it important? And the second is what are we looking at here? If this is the means to which we're going to follow up with kids, what are we looking at? You need to know what all this is. And the third is the expectations for you to take all of this data week in and week out and use it as a tool for contact work in your specific ministry, whether it be ninth grade girls, 11th grade guys, wildlife, whatever it is. We want to use this data that kids give us every week to do very good follow up with them. So, why follow up? Follow up enables us to do really good relational, incarnational ministry. So, let me explain that. If you guys remember John 1, in John 1, we kind of get this picture of this incarnational Jesus coming to live with you and I. So it says specifically from the Message version, because I like that for this section of Scripture. It says that Jesus put skin on and he moved into the neighborhood. So you get a bit of this incarnational ministry being in the flesh, that Jesus put flesh on, and going into the neighborhood. And so incarnational ministry is us going in our real flesh. So this is a physical thing. We go into physical places where teenagers are, in the world of teenagers is what we say in Young Life. And we show up and we're present. We quote unquote move into teenagers' neighborhoods. And so follow up helps us be incarnational because it's not just an idea, it's not just a come and see ministry. And so, hey, it was great that you guys were at club last night. Um, Sorry, my daughter Zoe was knocking on the window. So it was great that you were at club last night. Awesome. We hope to see you next week. That's not incarnational ministry. Incarnational ministry is, man, it was so good to see you at club last night. I'd love to go and get some coffee with you. I want to hear how life is going. I want to get to know you. I want to show up in your life. I want to be incarnational with you. I want to move into your neighborhood. I want to be Jesus with skin on in the most appropriate way that we can be to teenagers. Oftentimes, people say that when we follow up with kids, when we show up in the lives of kids, it's the closest that those kids might ever see a picture of Jesus. We work with fringe kids in Young Life. Those kids who are on the fringe, they might not have ever heard the gospel of Jesus. They might not have ever heard the good news. They're out on the fringes. They're not being reached by the church for various reasons. And those are the kids that we want. And we might be the only Jesus that they ever see. So follow up is super important. It allows us to do incarnational ministry in a way that we can't do at club. So when a kid comes to club, he or she is going to fill out a club card, paper or online. And team leaders and the rest of the leaders, we're all going to get this data on Tuesday morning, and we're going to get to see who was new. And the idea is that we don't want kids to spend more than 48 hours after club without having received a text from us. A text from us communicates, we saw you, we want to know you, and we want to care for you. It's a lot of the stuff that we just learned for campaigners. Care, love, and delight. Good follow-up allows us to care, love, and delight in the kids that chose to spend an hour with us on Monday nights. Don't miss the opportunity to do incarnational ministry with these kids who gave up their time on club for club night on Monday nights. So kids, they see that we care for them. They see that we delight in them. And they see that we want to love them with the gospel. So that's why we do follow-up. We do follow-up to do more ministry, to care, love, and delight in kids. We want them to be known. We want them to feel loved. We want them to feel cared for. And those are going to lead to opportunities for us to share the good news of Jesus, which is why Young Life exists. To introduce adolescents to the good news of Jesus and to help them trust and follow him in the world. That's my interpretation on that. It's not the exact, but you guys get what I'm saying. So, what is all of this stuff that you're looking at? First off, you're going to see a last name, a first name, whether they're a guy or a girl, and not necessarily what grade they're in, but their phone number, because you're going to need their phone number. So let's just go ahead and change that so you don't get confused. Boom. And that's not going to be there either. Actually, yes, it is. I lied. So there we go. So this is what you have, and each week there are going to be new students. And if you look at this legend here, a first-time student is going to be represented in blue. When we get to expectations, you'll hear me say, and you'll just hear me say it now, blue kids need to be followed up with by a team leader, and that team leader needs to text the most appropriate volunteer leader and the student who is new. So student number 1 is a male in 12th grade. That means Austin at PV is going to text student number 1, and he's going to include Corey or Aaron or both of those dudes, because they're awesome, on that text. It's going to sound something like this. Hey, student number 1, it was so good to meet you at club last night. We're so excited that you joined us for that. We hope you had a great time. Hey, Aaron and Corey are in on this text. Just wanted to introduce you to them. We look forward to building a relationship with you this school year. It's as simple as that. And then if it's Austin's kid, it's not really Austin's kid, but if it's a kid that Austin is running after, then Austin would do the contact work. And the same for Aaron or Corey. So blue gets a text within 48 hours of club. It cannot be longer than that, because that shows that we're not caring for, loving, and delighting in these kids. They deserve a follow-up from us. So here's a female, student number 3. Student number 3 is going to get a text from Kylie, and Kylie is going to include the female leaders who are most appropriate for a female in 11th grade. So that could be Greta or Megan. And as we grow in our female leadership over at PV, it would include the rest of those leaders. So again, hey, it was great to meet you. Hope you had a great time at club. I've included Greta, or I've included Megan in on this text because I think you guys should know each other. Something simple, and we want these kids to know that they are cared for and loved, and that we delight in them. So after this, and by the way, this will always be in priority. So blue is first timers, yellow is they did not attend that week. So there's a bunch of students in here, 30 to be specific, and the did not attend. And so we want to give them a follow-up too, but it doesn't have to be within 48 hours. It should be sometime between the moment club ended on Monday night And the moment club starts, probably not the moment before club starts, because that doesn't give them very much opportunity to engage with us before we move to the next club. So I would say sometime during the work week, we need to follow up with these kids. But the follow up is not, hey, you weren't at club. We hope to see you next week because you missed out. All that does is produce shame in these kids' lives. The follow up needs to be relational, incarnational, right? So the follow up is not, hey, uh, you should be at club next week. The follow up is, hey, we missed you. I'd love to get together with you this week. See every opportunity with a kid for an opportunity to do contact work. Hey, I'd love to get coffee with you, hear how your week was. We missed you. It's never come back to club, because that's a come and see ministry, and Young Life is not a come and see ministry. Young Life is a, we as adult leaders go into the world of teenagers and we never expect them to come to anything that we offer. So we are always the pursuers. We are always the one going into their world. And as we build those relationships, those kids will begin to come to our stuff, air quotes. So follow up is necessary within 1 week of a student missing. We don't want them to fall through the cracks. And then here are all the kids that were at club or at this Alpha Youth group that we did last year. So green, attended, yellow, did not attend, blue, first timer. So what you see here are all of these Alpha gatherings plugged in. And what I want to show you is week 9 of Alpha. So week 1 of Alpha, we had let's see, we had 9 kids there who were new, and then we had 32 who had been in our system already. So a total of 41 kids. Usually in the youth ministry world, your first gathering is your largest, and from there, attendance tapers off. But here's what happens when you move away from the come and see, we only want you to come to our program ministry. In week 9, because you're doing contact work and you're following up with kids in the way that Jesus followed up with people, I believe. In week 9, here's what this ministry had. We still had new kids coming every single week. Student 1 and Student 2 were new in week 9 of Alpha. And you'll see there's a blue kid every single week in this ministry. And you see all this beautiful color, this beautiful data. And what it communicates is that we did follow up really, really well. And on week 9 of Alpha, we had 47 students coming. Week 1, we had 41. Week 9, 47. Not many ministries tend to grow like that. Not many youth ministries. We kick off a school year and you have this big gathering, and then it tapers down where it's almost half of what it was at the beginning of the school year. So let me show you what some of this follow-up has created. So Student 5 did not come to Alpha weeks 1 and 2, but they did in week 3. And it looks like they didn't come back. Pink is a new color that I'll introduce here in a second. So they came in week 3, did not come in week 4, and they got an immediate follow-up. Hey, would love to build a relationship with you. So it's that relational type of text, not come back to youth group. And because of that follow-up, and I don't know the student, so I can't tell you exactly what happened, but because of that follow-up, this student engaged with us for the rest of the school year. They were there every single week. Same thing here. Student number 9 didn't come for 4 weeks of Alpha. They were brand new week 5, and they got good follow-up and stayed with us and engaged with us the rest of the year. So even students who are kind of all over the place, you see, didn't come week 1, came week 2, didn't come 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, and then they engaged with us. So that was probably a special circumstance, but So pink is, you get a pink kid if they miss 2 weeks in a row. And pink means their priority is high, maybe even higher than a new student, because they were new at one point. They had never been to our ministry before, and then they didn't come back. There's a reason why they didn't come back. Maybe the follow-up wasn't great. Maybe they had a poor experience. Maybe their schedule didn't work out. Maybe they had too much homework. So there's a bunch of reasons why. And this gives us opportunity to love, care, and delight in them and do really good follow-up. This is relationship building. So just look at the data throughout here. You can pause. You can kind of see these trends. For the most part, if we did good follow-up with people, they stuck around with us because they knew that we cared about them more than we cared about the program. So as you start to see down here, fickle students show fickle data. So if they're not really engaging with us, you're going to see that in here. And there are some kids that came for the first week and never came back again. I think I know exactly who these students are. They engaged with us for 1 week and said, we can't do it because we have other priorities. We wish we could be here every week, but we just can't with our schedule. And there's going to be some kids that show that data. There are going to be some kids who never come back for other reasons, and you see that represented here. And so in all, we were able in this ministry to engage. There was 49 people who missed week 9 of Alpha, but there were 47 who engaged with us. So that's 96 kids that we engaged in this whole first semester, fall semester of the school year. And there were only 41 kids that engaged with us on week 1. So that means that our reach, we had 55 new kids this whole school year. That's incredible, especially for a church of the size that I was at and the size of our youth group. This is just high school youth group. So to have 96 kids coming around in one semester, that's a lot of kids to do follow-up with. So the expectations. So we talked about why follow-up, aka contact work. We talked about what this data is and how to use it. And these are the expectations now. So asterisk, if you've not listened to anything so far, please listen up. And I kind of alluded to them as I've been talking about this data. But the expectations are that team leaders would engage with this data, and you would provide clear data or clear direction for your volunteer leaders. So again, a blue gets a text within 48 hours. And I'm going to say the same for pink. If a kid has come for the first time and then missed a week, they get wrapped into this 48-hour window. So blue and pink, they need to be contacted within 48 hours to build a better relationship. Not come back to club, yes, to build a better relationship. And if conversations lead to club, that's cool. Yellow needs to be followed up with within the time between the last club and the future club. So today's Tuesday. We need to follow up with kids who came last week but did not come last night, and we need to build relationships with them. So blue 48 hours, pink 48 hours, yellow within 6 days, and green should be the kids, if they're engaging with us on a regular basis, these should be the kids that are in campaigners. So you're seeing them every week at campaigners and club. They're invested, they're coming around, they're growing in Christ, and we're doing great relational work with them as well. So hey, that's all I got for follow-up. I would hope that you use these tools every single week, that you refer to this video and just kind of fast forward through stuff that doesn't make sense, or you need more clarity on whatever it is. Ask questions, follow up with me. This is new for us, This is new culture. These are new processes, and so I know there's going to be a little bit of wrestling with it, and there's going to be a break-in time. But please engage with this. As we doubled in ministry, well, not fully, but we were pretty darn close to doubling in ministry last night. I hope you understand now the importance of follow up. I believe that we can triple. I believe that our PV numbers this school year will easily be at 75 on an average, could even be 100. I believe that our club numbers at Bartram Creekside are going to be at least 45 by the end of this semester, and I believe that it's all going to come from doing this follow up. But it is so necessary. Kids will not come to our stuff if they don't feel like we want to build their be their friends and build a relationship with them. So that's what I got. Hit me up later if you need more clarity.